Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to have lots of tips on how to enhance your pencil technique when aiming for a high level of realism. Now to do this I'm going to demonstrate that on a recent Red Stag tutorial, and here I want to focus first of all on my base foundation. So the base foundation is something where I feel this is one of the biggest parts of the drawing process that complements the refined pencil technique. If there isn't enough pastel on the paper, then the pencil strokes are going to look grainy, we're not going to have the depth, and also we're going to really have much more of a harsher look to the details. This base foundation is crucial. Now regarding the layering process here, the paper is very important. I do like to use Pastelmat by Clairefontaine. That does allow for many layers to be used. You can see that already here I'm capturing a lot of softness. The way that that paper grips the pastel, I can soften that in, and more importantly, I know I could work with 10 to 15 layers, if not more, and still have tooth of the paper left, as long as the layering process is correct, and that's something that I'm going to speak more about in this video. So one of my favourite ways of working is to use the pastel pencils from start to finish. So I'm going to use a combination of Carbothello, Pitt, Derwent and Caran to create this softness in my base layer. You can see here that I'm not really worrying about the exact colour at this stage. I do achieve the colour that I want by building the colours with each layer that I add. There are considerations that do need to be thought about when working with vibrant colours. The way that we would layer that is going to be different. I've got a few tutorials here that would demonstrate many different fur colours. I'll pop a couple of those in the description if they're of interest. But here for this approach, I'm working with a bit more of a light to dark layer. I want to make sure that I don't have my base foundation too dark, because that can then make it difficult for the colours to remain as brown as I want here. I don't want to have any areas that look grey, and that can happen if I use black early on in the layering process to darken my shadows. So that really is a key thing here. I want to make sure that if I am focusing on a little bit more colour saturation, that those colours are established initially. We can always darken them, as I've mentioned, but making sure that I've got that in first is just a good thing there that's going to make that layering process easier. When I start working with considering the detail, I do want to make sure that I have got a little bit more of a sharper point. That's not always necessary, but this area here, it's quite small in terms of the angle of the face. The muscles, because the mouth is open, it's compressing areas on the face and making this area a little bit more delicate. So to make sure that I've got those finer details, I want these lines to be very thin. I am working with a sharper point and lighter pressure on the pencil. So one other aspect that's really important when aiming for more realism is that we do need to work on a bigger scale. For this project, I could have actually worked much larger, but I needed to be realistic with the length of time this tutorial was. So what I did is I planned this on a 12 by 20 size, so it is a custom size, but I really wanted something that was longer so that I could get the antlers included. When working on a larger area, I'm able to add more details. I'm able to control that pencil a little bit more in order for packing as much definition within that detail as I can. However, that's really crucial to remember about softness. The softness, although I feel it starts at the base layer, I don't want my details to be really harsh and almost look wiry. That wouldn't be the right texture here, certainly for the face. So when controlling that pencil technique, having very short, fine lines, the pressure on the pencil and the point, they are going to make one of the biggest differences. But as I've mentioned at the beginning, making sure that I've got enough pastel on that surface first is going to make this pencil technique easier. One of the things there that can be more challenging is if you're adding your details on top, the details might look grainy. That will potentially be worse if you're working with a different paper, so that's certainly something to consider. But if the base foundation is a very thin layer, it's minimal amount of pastel, then the details on top, they will look grainy. They're still fighting with more of that texture. The last thing I want to do though at my base foundation is to add too much and fill the tooth of the paper. So getting the balance right is important, and this is something that I do cover thoroughly in my real-time tutorials. If they are of interest, I'll link the information to those in the description below. Now, as I started getting more of the face completed, you can really see here the changes in the fur direction. The changes of the fur direction, I try to capture as much of those as I can. If I'm working on a smaller scale, I'm not going to have room for every single one. And in those situations, I just recommend to map the main changes of that direction in place. So if you've got a curved direction of that fur over the eye socket is a key structure to capture. I would favour that rather than maybe something that then changes next to it. I always try to capture as much as I can, but forcing too many pencil strokes can actually make the level of realism lower. Forcing more detail doesn't necessarily mean more realism. But if you are working larger, then of course you can then add more of those changes. When I'm working with an area where I know the soft tissue under the skin is going to be compressed, if there's a shadow or a highlight there, that's going to help define the structure of the face. Now, because the mouth is open, you can see that I've got a little bit more of that diagonal slope of my highlights and then some of the shadows. If these shadows and highlights are made too straight, they're not going in the right direction, then that is going to have an effect on the shape and form that's created. So it isn't just about the pencil details that I add, but also the placement of those lights and darks. When drawing elements such as ears, regardless of the shape, I do like to make sure that I've captured what would be underneath the inner ear hair first. So if I could see any portions of the skin, I do want to make sure that I've layered that first. Technically, drawing anything that is further away initially and then building up my layers. One other aspect that can make drawing easier, regardless of what it is that we're drawing, is to simply map in those lights and darks first. I don't have to worry about the exact colour in this situation. I don't even have to get this as dark as it needs to. I can darken that later. But what I do want to establish is if there is a dark shadow or a bright highlight and I'm getting confused with the area I'm working on, if I map those values in first, I'm not going to have as much hesitation when I look at my photo and back at my drawing. If I have got one of those markings, shadows established, I can think, right, that's where that is in the photo, look back at my drawing, and immediately I'm on the right track. Working with those simpler areas by mapping in what we know is accurate first can make it much easier to follow that reference photo and continue to put in as much depth as we possibly can. So my plan is to actually make a separate video focusing on how I did the antlers. The pencil technique here is a little bit different, so I'm going to cover that in a new video that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. However, one of my biggest tips when drawing anything, regardless of what it is, but especially when I've got the bright highlights and dark shadows that I want to capture, is good contrast. If I don't have the shadows as dark as they are here, then these antlers are going to look very flat. If the highlights are too muted, then the lighting's not going to be captured at all. This is going to give far more interest to the artwork. The high contrast is far more important to focus on rather than the exact colour. One of the things there that I always tell myself is if this photo of this stag was taken even just a few seconds later, when the clouds went over the sun, for example, it wasn't a foggy morning such as this, then the colours on the antlers and the fur are going to be different. The lighting that is reflected in sunlight versus overcast, rainy day, in a dark shadow, for example, everything such as that is going to impact the colour of the animal. But the contrast, that is what's still going to remain. So therefore, that's what I like to focus on when drawing realism. I do, of course, cover the colour layering process in my real-time tutorials. All of that is explained thoroughly, but the values here is something that I really do want to emphasise. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned about how I would adjust the layering process if I was working with something that was more vibrant. My base foundation here, you can see I'm using far more of my saturated oranges. I'm not having as much of a darker base. I'm adding my darker colours on top. Of course, I'm going to adjust this layering process if the colours were even more saturated, such as a red-eye tree frog. But for this, I didn't want to start with my dark browns and then add the oranges on top, because the oranges are never going to look as saturated as they are if I had used those first. However, even at this base layer stage, you can see that I am moving my pencil following the main directional changes of the fur. I haven't just blocked in one solid layer. Even at this stage, I have shown the movement of the fur. I'm going to tidy that up and refine it as I go. But even at this point, this base foundation is exactly where I personally want this to be. I've started to hint at good contrast. I'm getting things a little bit darker here. I'm now going to soften this out because it is still a little bit too harsh. Those pencil strokes are starting to look a bit too coarse. But by softening those in, currently here, this has now given me that correct texture and the depth of the fur. One of my biggest tips at this stage is if I start to work with the details and they're not showing up as I would like, the first question is to ask ourselves, is the base foundation dark enough? Now at the moment with this yellow ochre pencil, I'm not using this to create highlights as such. When I use the lighter yellow here, this is where I want to have a little bit more indication of that detail. If this pencil wasn't showing up, that would tell me that my base layers are too light. One of the common mistakes is we start working with a pencil, they're not showing up, so we pick a lighter pencil to make those details visible. However, that's usually not the cause. If the base foundation is too light and we start to just work with lighter pencils for the details, then the fur just overall ends up far too bright. So certainly the base foundation there, making sure it's dark enough, is key. So the last stages of my drawings is I'm taking a step back from my easel and thinking, what do I need to adjust to make my artwork better? I'm not necessarily looking at the reference photo anywhere near as much as I do for the bulk of the drawing process up to this point. It may be that I feel I need to darken a shadow, I need to lighten my highlights, add some whiskers at the end. They overlap everything else, so I don't usually add those until I know everything beneath that is in place. When I'm working with adjusting my contrast, it might seem like it's very minor adjustments, but these alterations can have a huge impact with how realistic this drawing is. So I do hope that this video has been useful. If it was, I'd be very grateful if you could give it a like and a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference to my channel. I do also upload a couple of videos to YouTube every week, so if you would like to get notified of that content, then don't forget to hit the subscribe and the bell button. If you would like to draw along to the real-time version of this stag tutorial or any of my other in-depth lessons, I'll link the information to those in the description below. If you have any art-related questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm always happy to help if I can. I'm going to be uploading another video next week, but as always, thank you so much for watching.